Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another Ocho and Ortiz Does Disney podcast. This episode was not my choice. I'm not looking forward to this, but it is what it is. So without further ado, as always, let's get this shit started. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. Like I said right off the top there, this was not my choice for this week's podcast. I told Josh that he could have the choice of whatever Disney topic he wanted to do this week. So this week, Josh will be playing the part of a wide-eyed child, one watching in bewilderment, and I will be the drunken, reluctant parent that's being dragged and forced to watch this drivel. This is gonna go great. Also, this is the first episode that we are going to try to do a video recording on. So that's going on right now. So you can check that out on our YouTube channel. Hopefully everything records properly and it will be up on our YouTube channel. So I will post a link to it in the description down below, but definitely check out our YouTube channel and see our first ever video podcast. It'll just be me. Josh doesn't want to do video, and that's fine. I'm not going to force him to. But Josh's pick this week for the podcast was the first installment of Disney's Descendants. So Josh, this is your episode. You kick things off. Get it going.
Holy crap, you even got a background for that as well? That's fantastic.
I do.
That's awesome. By the way, I like the little beard going on there, Dave.
Oh, thank you.
It's the first time I'm seeing it.
I've decided that I'm just not shaving during the Rona. So once it's all over, we'll see how full this beard has become. It's gonna be awkward, but
I mean, I got mine going, right?
Nice. Well, I mean, people have seen you with a beard before. No one's ever seen me attempt to grow a beard before. So this is going to be something different for a lot of people.
That's fair. That's fair. All right. Yeah. So, I mean, I figured we'd go through a DCOM, and when I texted you that, I was like, hey, let's do a DCOM. And you text me back saying, what the fuck is a DCOM?
I had no idea what DCOM was. I'm like, a Disney comedy? Okay. Like, what comedy do you want to watch?
No, so a DCOM stands for Disney Channel Original Movie, which actually started in 1997. When the channel launched, I think it was in the 80s. It was Disney Channel Premiere Movies or something like that is what they were called, but then they rebranded it in 97 to DCOMs as the Disney Channel Original Movies. So most of them have been released. They've all been released just for the channel, right? And then there's some of them that were put into theaters, like High School Musical 3. That was I think that was the first one that got released in theaters based off of a DCOM. But High School Musical, I even texted you this, that High School Musical was something that I was thinking of doing, because that is the biggest DCOM of all time. And then I don't know,
shape or form on God's green earth, or any other version of Earth, whether or not you believe in God. Are we ever doing a review of any of the High School Musical movies? I am putting that out there right now.
Oh, we're not?
No.
Well, alrighty then. Okay, then it's a good thing I chose Descendants then. Right? No?
I mean, it wasn't High School Musical, I'll give you that.
So you enjoyed it a little more? Is that what you're telling me?
It was about as cringe as well, it was still cringe, but not as cringe as I was expecting it to be. It definitely had its moments, which we'll get to as things go along. But for me, definitely the standout was, the standouts were definitely Christian Chenoweth and
Yeah.
Dove Cameron, who played Maleficent and Mal respectively. The thing that I loved about both of their performances is when they actually sung in this movie. Like, I know in all movies your musical tracks are pre-recorded beforehand, and then you're just sort of lip syncing to the movie when you're actually record, or to the music when you're recording the movie. But when you listen to the vocals on their songs, it definitely sounds like they could have been singing those live. For me, those women were the two best in terms of the singing and performances throughout this movie.
Yeah, no, they're both fantastic. Kristen Chenoweth is someone who's I've seen before in different shows and stuff. She was on a few episodes of Glee, and she has a Tony and for other things too. She's really good. Dove Cameron is another Disney girl. She had a TV show called Liv and Maddie where she played both twins.
Okay.
Yeah, so I mean, not my first exposure to Dove Cameron. I knew who she was. Same with like the main cast. So the main cast is Dove Cameron playing Maleficent's daughter Mal, Sophia Carson playing Evie, the Evil Queen's daughter. Cameron Boyce was playing what's his name? Carlos, Cruella de Vil's son, and then Boo Boo Stewart played Jay, Jafar's son. So Cameron Boyce, another Disney guy. He was on oh God, what was it? Jesse, right? And he acted quite a bit. I don't know if you ever saw. He was one of the sons in Grown Ups. He was Adam Sandler's kid.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I haven't seen that movie since it was like first in theaters, but
Yeah.
I absolutely love that movie. But we're not here to talk about Grown Ups, which I easily could, but we're not.
No. I'm just making a point of other things that he's been in, right?
Also, I just want to point out, because I was actually looking it up when you were talking about it, the first movie to premiere as a Disney Channel original movie when it launched in 1997 was Under Wraps, which premiered on October 25th, 1997. So a little bit of Disney Channel history for everybody that's listening.
Yep, I might have Wikipedia open as well for that.
That's what I have open. I was just trying to find it while we were talking.
I already have that open. So yeah, that's who was in that one. And do you know who directed the movie?
I do not.
It was Kenny Ortega. He directed all three movies, actually. He also directed the High School Musical movies, Newsies, and Hocus Pocus. And another cool thing for Hocus Pocus is there was another person from Hocus Pocus in this movie. Evil Queen, Kathy Najimy, she was in this. I thought that was pretty cool.
I've never actually watched Hocus Pocus.
Okay. She was in Sister Act.
I just know, like, I think Bette Midler and Sarah Jessica Parker are in that movie, and that's pretty much all I know about Hocus Pocus.
Yeah, so there's three sisters. Kathy Najimy is the other one.
Okay.
Damn, okay, I thought you would have known that one. But yeah, no, she was also in Sister Act 1 and 2, and she's been in quite a few things.
That Kenny Omega is a great director then.
Kenny Ortega. Jerk. Yeah, he's a director, and he also does most of the choreography for all of those movies as well.
Okay, fair enough. He's no Taika Waititi, but he'll do.
Have you seen Taika's movie that came out last year? I think it was called Jojo Rabbit.
No, I've heard really good things about it, and I want to see it. I think it's on Netflix now, or it's going to be soon. So I definitely want to check that out.
It's a fantastic movie. Really, really well done. Yeah. Do you want to start some review here with that, Dave?
Well, let me just start out by saying we sort of gave the names of the characters and the actors who played them and everything. So basically, the idea of Descendants, for anyone that has not watched the movie, is that there are 4 children who are descendants of evil Disney villains. So the evil Disney villains, as Josh already pointed out, are Cruella de Vil, Maleficent, Jafar, and the evil queen from Snow White. And basically, and also we can't forget Prince Ben, who is the descendant of Belle and Beast. From Beauty and the Beast. And so basically the story revolves around Beast becoming king and banishing the villains to an island off of the shores of whatever the places where they're located. I can't remember the name of it.
Oregon.
There you go. Off of the island of Oregon. And
Oregon.
Yeah, that's what I said. Pteranodon. So anyways, basically, King Beast, because I can't remember his actual name, so I'm just going to call him
Adam.
King Adam, thank you, has banished all the villains into one place. And Prince Ben, upon his coronation, has decreed that he wants the children, the descendants of all the villains, to have an opportunity in Oregon. So he allows them to come over and go to school there and everything. And basically, Maleficent wants Mal to steal the fairy godmother's wand so they can be freed from that little island place that the villains are on. And Maleficent can extract her revenge. So that's basically the main plot. And then the side plot is the fact that while they're in Oregon, or however it's pronounced, the descendants, the children, Carlos, Jay, Evie, and Mal, even though their main purpose is to try to steal the wand and everything and get back to their island, they sort of start enjoying their time in Ardon, and they start making friends and everything there. And Jay makes I don't even know what the hell the sport is that they play in that movie.
Tourney.
What's it called?
Tourney.
It's called Tourney.
It's called Tourney. Tourney.
Okay, so it's basically what would I equate it to?
I almost like a lacrosse game.
Like a lacrosse field hockey mix type of.
Yeah.
And so he becomes like the star player on that team. Meanwhile, Carlos finds stuff that he's interested in there as well. He makes friends with a dog dude after originally being terrified of dogs because his mom convinced him, his mom obviously being Cruella de Vil, his mom convinced him that dogs were evil and wanted to attack and eat human children. So he went in with a fear of dogs, and by the end of it, he had made friends with this dog named Dude. And so everyone sort of starts finding their groove in Ardon, and then they question whether they want to be evil or good, and then it comes down to a big final showdown at Ben's coronation, and it's up to Mal whether she wants to give in to her mother or choose her own path and choose the path of good instead of the path of evil.
Yeah. Little things in there as well. Ben is, at the time of when it starts, he's dating Audrey, who is the daughter of Aurora, Sleeping Beauty. So, Aurora does not like Mal already because, her mom and the moms and everything. And they go to steal the one that's in a museum, and they don't, they're unsuccessful. But before that, they all find statues of each of their parents, and that's when you get Kristen Chenoweth and Mal singing a song together.
The highlight of the movie as well as the low light of the movie. The low light of the movie is that entire museum sequence, aside from this musical number, Evil Like Me, which is just an absolutely fantastic number. Chenoweth and
Cameron
it just absolutely fucking killed it. It was a tremendous number, probably the best song from the film in my opinion. The rest of that museum sequence can just go in the fucking trash. It's horrible. First of all, you have the Hall of Villains. The Hall of Villains. And conveniently, the only villains that are in the Hall of Villains are the parents of the Descendants in this movie. There's no other villains in the Hall of Villains. There's no fucking, there's no Captain Hook. There's no pick and choose.
Ursula.
There's no Ursula. Pick and choose any one of a number of different fucking villains in Disney films throughout time. There's only the 4 that are represented in this movie are the only ones that happen to be in the hall. So for me, I would have enjoyed it a bit more if they had had statues of other villains as well. Make it seem a little bit more realistic in this museum. Second of all, the escape in the security guard thing is so fucking ridiculous. Actually, the whole security guard thing is ridiculous to begin with. So in order to get past security to sneak into the museum late at night to try and steal the wand, Mal was given her mother's book of spells. And just conveniently, Maleficent's spinning wheel happens to be in the fucking security office. Why there's a spinning wheel in the security office, God only knows. You would think that would be part of the museum, somewhere on display, but no, conveniently, it's right in the security office. Then Mal uses the same spell that her mom used on Aurora to get the security guard to go to the spinning wheel and prick his finger so he falls asleep so they can sneak in. Now, he wakes in the original spell, True Love's first kiss has to wake you up from the spell. But in this one, conveniently, the security guard just wakes up when the alarms
go off.
When they try to steal the wand. So, I mean, I call bullshit on that right away. Second of all, fucking, as they're trying to run away, like when you're watching the footage, the security guard really doesn't seem to be that far away from ever really catching them. It's just they happen to get by him. But right at the end, as they're about to leave, conveniently, there's a phone call, I guess, from the alarm company to see what was going on. And I can't remember if it was Carlos or Jay. I think it was Carlos.
It was Carlos.
Carlos answers the phone and reads the instructions in the security guard's book as to what to say to the alarm company to get the alarm shut off. Now, in that time, the security guard really should have been able to catch up with them and at least catch Carlos, if nobody else. But somehow Carlos runs out, and then the security guard gets to the security room just as Carlos gets out. So I call with the exception of the Evil Like Me number, I call bullshit on that entire museum sequence.
I mean, with that the sequence, you know what I thought about when he picked up the phone? For some reason I thought it was like a whole Star Wars thing, like when Han Solo kind of picked it up in like A New Hope.
Yeah, everything's fine here.
Yeah, right. So that's what I saw, and I loved it. Right.
That would have been better. Him just saying everything's
fine
and hanging up the phone rather than spending like 2 minutes giving the fucking code answers and then the phone and just narrowly escaping being caught.
It's just everything's fine here. How are you? Yeah. So they are unsuccessful to get the wand. So now they're trying to figure out how else to get the wand, and Evie finds out that the wand is used during Prince Ben's coronation, and so she tells Mal that. Mal asks Ben if they could be up front just to soak in all that goodness from the fairy godmother, and he said he can't. It's only his family and his girlfriend. Well, and so
only his parents and his girlfriend.
Yeah, his parents and his girlfriend. And she's like, oh, your girlfriend. Okay. She shoos him away, basically, shuts the door in his face. And she's like, well, I think it's time that he gets a new girlfriend. So then they go and decide to make a love spell, and they're making cookies. But the one ingredient that they need for that is an actual tear. And that's where Lonnie, who is the daughter of Mulan, comes in. We see her earlier because she wants to get her hair done by Mal. Because she saw Jane's hair get done. Who Jane is the daughter of the fairy godmother. So then she cries and finds that when she basically finds out that the villain parents, they don't love the kids as much as, normal parents, I guess. Right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So they make the cookie and she gives it to Ben, and Ben instantly falls in love with her. They go to a tourney game. They win the game, and then Ben gets up, says he has something to say, and then he sings a whole song about Mal, while Audrey just fucking freaks out.
That whole number was god awful.
What you don't like? Did I mention?
That was horrible. That not only was it horrible, it was a long horrible. That song went on much longer than it fucking needed to.
Okay, fair. Oh, but I didn't get to ask you. What did you think of the first song, "Rotten to the Core"?
Also, not a fan.
So okay, I absolutely the first time I saw this movie came out in 2015. I'm like, this is trash. This is so stupid. This is gonna be horrible. And then I watched the movie. I'm like, okay, that was pretty good. And then
Her first instincts were right. Let me just tell you that.
No, I know. And to be honest, I like that song now. I don't know why, but I really do.
I can't stand when that song first came on. My immediate reaction was, "Oh God, I have to sit through 2 hours of this shit."
I'm sorry, Dave. Anyways, and then just to try to piss off Ben, because Audrey doesn't know that he's spelled. She's like, I'm dating Chad now, who is the daughter or the son of Prince Charming and Cinderella. Ben takes Mal on a date, and then he goes swimming in the Enchanted Lake. Nobody knows this, or they don't find this out till later, but the Enchanted Lake.
Also, another great musical number by Dove Cameron in that scene.
Oh, If Only?
Yes.
Yeah. Is it bad that I know all these songs?
No, I would hope that you would know it because you've watched this movie probably at least 30 times.
Yeah, okay, probably. I watched this yesterday before WrestleMania Part 2. I literally watched the first one and the second one, and then I came home today after work, and I watched the third one, and I started rewatching the first one. So, I mean, yeah, no, I'm a huge fan of this series. In the Enchanted Lake, it washes off every spell that's been cast if you're under a spell. So Ben knew pretty fast that he had been spelled, but he continued to go on with it, and
although it's not revealed.
It's not revealed till the coronation when Mal gives him a brownie that actually is supposed to reverse the love potion.
Yes.
And so he's like, should we wait for a few minutes? After he takes a bite, she asks how he feels. He's like, I don't know. Let's wait a few minutes to see if the love potion takes effect. And she's like, wait, what? You knew? And, he reveals, yeah, I've known since the first date at the Enchanted Lake and everything. What else happened? Oh, Mal meets Audrey's grandmother.
Yeah, because there's sort of a party before the coronation.
Yeah,
a little party with Ben. And
it was Parents' Day. That's what it was.
There was a little musical number in this one that I quite enjoyed, where it was back to Be Our Guest.
Yeah.
I thought it was absolutely phenomenal. That was probably the one non-Kristen Chenoweth Dove Cameron song that I actually enjoyed.
Be Our Guest. Yeah, it was a good rendition of the original.
Yeah, it's very fun. A good modern take on a song that's almost 30 years old at this point.
Yeah. So it was Parents' Day. So obviously, their parents could not be there. So before that, Fairy Godmother set up a thing where a video chat with their parents, and I found it so funny, the little banter between the fairy godmother and Maleficent.
Yes.
That was really funny. I loved that part. But yeah, there's that. Oh, that is actually from the third movie.
Oh, the screen that I just put up?
Yep, that's from the third movie.
Fuck, Josh. No one would have been people that known that. But fucking, it was the first image that popped up that I could quickly grab.
Yeah, that's. I mean, he's got the crown, so now he's already King Ben. You know, he's not King Ben yet.
I mean, technically, it could have been from the second movie. I don't know.
It's from the third. You don't know yet, but you will, Dave. Because I really do want to go through 2 and 3 now that we've started this. Not next, obviously, down the road, but yes, I do want to go through 2 and 3. Because they do add some new characters into and in 3, and they do add some really good actors as well.
They add Harry Hook. I know that much because I checked
Yes.
the IMDb.
Yes, so they add Harry Hook in the second one, who is played by Timothy Doherty, who I forget what he's not British, Scottish, I think. He's a Scottish actor. So you'll like that. And then they add Uma, who is the daughter of Ursula. And yeah, we're getting ahead of ourselves. That's different movies.
Okay, I was wondering who the fuck Uma was when I was trying to figure it out when I was going through IMDb.
But again, we will get to that later in other episodes, I hope. I'm trying to watch your face to see if you're going to say no or not. But I feel like you want to go through these now, Dave.
I don't know where you get that feeling from, and I wouldn't trust that feeling.
Well, anyways, so Mal and Ben are at the front, and they're trying to figure out what to do. There's a whole big thing at the Parents' Day thing with Mal's between Mal and Audrey's grandmother, and it's a whole big thing. And then Chad, sorry,
Aurora's mother, yeah,
I can't remember what her name is, to be honest. Basically, everybody turns on them, and then Mal, like you said, they're all starting to like it there, right?
Everyone sort of turns on Ben in that moment too.
Yeah, they all turn on Ben, and then they all turn on Mal and Evie, Jay, and Carlos.
Dad turns on him, and what a prick.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Beast is kind of a dick. Oh, quick, funny little thing, but not funny, but a little thing about Belle. She was actually in the show Once Upon a Time. She played the Blue Fairy in that as well. So another little Disney connection there. So after that, they're all sitting down, and Jane and Audrey try to say something to her. So Mal takes away Jane's hair that she did for her because it's a spell. So she undoes the spell, and Mal scares them all off. I forgot, Evie also has that magic mirror.
Yes.
She's got the little personal magic mirror, and
which her teacher finds out about and takes, and then it's up to the nerd guy in her class to try to help her get her grades honestly.
Yeah, that is Doug, who is the son of Dopey and is absolutely in love with Evie because, come on, look at her, Sophia Carson. She's fucking great.
But I do want to say, going back to the party thing, like when Ben introduced his girlfriend, when he announces that he broke up with Audrey and that he has a new girlfriend, and then it's Mal, like I found Belle's reaction like so hilarious that like fucking Belle doesn't want her son to date Mal, even though she was fucking kidnapped by the Beast. Basically suffered fucking Stockholm syndrome to fall in love with him, right? But apparently she has an issue with Ben falling in love with Mal. So like I thought that was a funny, at least for me, it was a funny moment.
I mean, it was a funny moment when he calls them over because they're going to take a picture of the three of them, Ben, Belle, and Beast. And when Mal starts walking over, the photographer gets a picture of Beast and Belle's face just kind of dropping, like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
So I mean, that was pretty good. But yeah, so everybody turns on them. So Mal and them are 100% ready to leave. All right. So she doesn't know what to do about grabbing the wand and everything. And then as soon as the wand is presented, you see someone grab the wand, but you don't know who it is. You just see somebody else grab the wand,
And then
and
it cuts to the parents of
yeah,
the villains.
yeah. So it cuts to the parents because the wand sends out a spark and it damages the barrier that's holding them up on the Isle of Lost. I think that's what it's called. And immediately Maleficent gets up, calls for her staff because there's no magic can be used on the Isle. That's the whole thing. Is all of them are banished to that Isle and no magic can be used. So as soon as that barrier is broken down, her staff becomes activated again. She can use magic and stuff. So she travels over there, and then we find out that it's not Mal who grabbed the wand. It was the fairy godmother's daughter, Jane, because she said, if you won't make me look beautiful, then I'll do it herself. Then she'll do it. And then Mal ends up grabbing it from her, and they try to get it back from Mal. Mal's like, no, we have to do this. Like, we have to give this to our parents, blah, 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 blah. And then Ben's like, no, your parents made their choice. You can make your own choice. What do you choose? And that's when they all decide that they're going to stay in Oridon and that they all choose good. And right as that happens, Maleficent shows up. And again, Kristen Chenoweth, fucking fantastic. Right?
Yes. I love Kristen Chenoweth. She's amazing.
Yeah. So she shows up, freezes everybody as Beast and Ben try to attack her. And then there's a big whole stare down between Mal and Maleficent. Jay tries to attack Maleficent, and then she turns into a dragon. But Mal says, it's between her and it's between the two of them. Leave her friends alone. And she gets Mal calls the wand back from Maleficent. That was a cool thing.
Yes, yeah. She uses a spell of her own.
Yep, to get the wand back, and then as Maleficent is the dragon staring her down, she starts another little spell. Oh fuck, I can't remember what it is. But yeah, she starts a little spell, and then Maleficent basically turns into a little lizard. And Fairy Godmother comes out of the being frozen and says that she turned into the reason why Maleficent shrunk so small into a lizard is because she is the size of the love in her heart.
Which is not very much.
Yeah. Yeah. They unfreeze everybody, and they all decide to choose, again, good.
And then there's a big party dance sequence afterwards.
That's such a Kenny Ortega thing. That's definitely a Kenny Ortega thing. That's like all high school musicals and stuff like that. But it's another great song called Set It Off.
I mean, as good as Kenny Ortega is, there were no V triggers in this movie, and that disappointed me.
Oh my God. Shut up, Dave. I don't know. I like that. I like that song though. Set It Off as well. What'd you think of that ending there?
Well, the end definitely set it up for the sequel. You have Mal around to the camera, and what you think this is the end of the story, and then the evil green eyes flash. So they definitely set it up for the sequel. Movie was not as bad as I was expecting. It really dragged. It was a long ass movie. It's an hour and I think 53 minutes that felt like 6 months of my life. And
it's not that long.
It's an hour and 53 minutes.
Oh yeah, I guess so. Oh yeah, fuck it is. It's 112 minutes, yeah.
I did my research on this, Josh.
Yeah. The other ones are actually shorter.
But yeah, so it was interesting. I like the concept of the story. Definitely a unique concept of having the children of well-known Disney princes, princesses, and villains So the concept to me was really cool. Oh man, like for me, the story seems like it would have fit better in like a Pixar animated film. But again, the bright spots for me were Christian Chenoweth and Dove Cameron. I guess we're going to be doing parts 2 and 3 at some point, and I'm going to have to sit through them. I'm not looking forward to that. But the movie was not as terrible as I was expecting it to be. I would give it, I'll give it a 5 out of 10.
All right, that's fair. I mean, it did get mostly good reviews. There was someone said it was a B grade, saying plot isn't really the point. The fun is the roll call. It's no High School Musical, but the songs are catchy and the junior villains are worth rooting for.
Sucks, and nothing should ever be compared to that. That is the low of the low.
Come on, man. We're all in this together.
No.
Honestly, when anybody keeps saying we're all in this together because of the whole COVID-19 thing, that is exactly what goes to my mind every time somebody says it.
You're the worst. You're absolutely the worst.
So, yeah. I don't know. I liked the movie. I thought it had a pretty good cast of people. The only one I didn't know out of the main four was Sophia Carson originally. Because as I said, like, I knew who... You look like you're about to say something.
The thing we didn't touch on was the diversity in this movie, which is not actually found throughout the original Disney films.
Oh, yeah, no, definitely. Yeah.
So you went from a lot of plain, absolutely whitewashed princes and princesses to a very diverse selection. Like Carlos was Spanish.
Audrey's black.
Well, I think Audrey seems to be a mixed race, to be honest. But her grandmother is black in the.
She's another one. She did pretty well after this. She's also starred in the new the Charmed reboot. She's also she's in that. She's one of the main 3 girls.
But I like the fact that they tried to diversify it, and in the end, it doesn't matter. Because you're not watching it for the races. It's just interesting to see, knowing Disney's history. It's interesting to see. But when you take that out of it, it's still, it's still a unique storyline, regardless of anything else. What the fuck was that?
Something just fell. Sorry.
But yeah, so knowing Disney's history, I like the fact that they tried to update it for modern times and diversify the cast. I thought that was really cool and good. But I still give it 5 out of 10. I would probably give it 6 or 6.5 if it wasn't for that just completely horrible fucking museum security sequence. That was atrocious.
That was pretty funny.
But I think that'll wrap things up. This was a lot better than our Brave review, I think. Not that our Brave review was bad, but you and I aren't used to reviewing shows and movies and stuff. So
yeah, we're used to reviewing wrestling where we just critique the shit out of everything.
Exactly. So last week's episode was sort of a run through as far as us doing reviews, which is why the title of the episode is With Apologies to Brave. But I think we did a much better job of reviewing things this time around, and I definitely look forward to doing more reviews and more Disney talk in the coming weeks. As long as this Rona is going around, we'll keep doing Disney, because God only knows what's going to go on with wrestling now, because more and more places are being shut down. So who knows what's going on with wrestling right now. So we'll continue to do the Disney podcast for now. We'll do a couple of wrestling podcasts here and there, but you can always follow us on the social medias, and we would appreciate if you did. Flashing up on the screen for those of you that are watching this. At Ocho Wrestling on Twitter, at Ocho and Ortiz on Instagram, and Facebook.com/Ocho and Ortiz. You can also get some merch shop.spreadshirt.com/Ocho and Ortiz, tpublic.com/Ocho and Ortiz, and teespring.com/stores/Ocho-and-Ortiz. And of course, the number one place to get pro wrestling tees for pro wrestling fans, prowrestlingtees.com/Ocho and Ortiz. I know it's tough times right now, and a lot of people are without jobs. So if you're able to support us, we would greatly appreciate that. And I did post a video today. Well, I mean, as of this recording, because we're recording this on April 6th, it's not going to be released for another 2 weeks. But as of this recording on April 6th, I released a video today letting everybody know that all of our content on Patreon is free right now. I've made all of our content free. That way you can check out our Patreon without having to pledge. If you do enjoy the content that we put on there, we would greatly appreciate it. If you do become a pledged member of our Patreon page, you can do it for as little as $1. Again, it's tough times, I know, which is why everything that we're going to be putting on Patreon going forward until this pandemic is over is going to be available for free. And then once the pandemic is over, everything will go back to being exclusive content. So check it out for free while you can, and hopefully you'll enjoy the content enough to support us. But with that being said, and the Ocho and Ortiz Mickey Mouse logo in the background, Josh, do you have any final words before we go?
I love that fucking logo, by the way. That's fucking fantastic.
I'm going to try to put that on a shirt, so hopefully that'll be soon.
Yeah, thanks everyone for listening. I mean, I had fun tonight. I really I really like this series. I know Dave loves it.
Yeah, no, it was an absolute blast.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to doing. Like I said before, I'm looking forward to doing more of these Disney ones. Hopefully, we'll get into the parks at some point soon. Maybe that'll be another topic that I'll choose or something.
Yeah, that would be good. And
Yeah.
like I said on the first episode, I definitely want to get into some of the
Conspiracy theories.
these theories that are floating around out there. So I definitely want to get into that. And hopefully the video of this recorded and comes out well. I don't know if it's gonna. The only thing I don't know is if it's gonna pick up the sound, because I'm listening to you on my headphones instead of listening to you through my computer. So I don't know how that's gonna affect your portion of the audio. So this is gonna be trial and error, because this is our first attempt at recording a video podcast. So hopefully it turns out the way I hope it turns out.
Well, all right.
And having said that, guys, as always, whether you listen to this in the morning, the afternoon, the evening, whatever time of day, where it is, where you are when you're listening to this, we thank you for listening. We appreciate you listening, and we'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.